For most of my life, I didn't make any decisions. Other people made them for me. I just lived them out. What to study, which group to choose in 11th, what career to pursue, even something as small as what to wear. I would first think about if my family would approve. It took me a long time to understand that wasn't normal. I thought I was just being a good daughter, a good student, or someone who's easy to be friends with, but no. Today, I want to share my own story with you. And no, it's not a big dramatic transformation. It's actually a very ordinary story, and that's exactly why I think it matters. When I was in school, choosing your own stream for class 11 was a big deal. Would we choose science or commerce or arts? I remember exactly how I made that decision. I didn't sit and think about what I enjoyed doing or what I wanted to do or what kind of future I wanted to build. I just noticed something that was happening around me. All the students that were considered good students, whose parents bragged about, whose teachers bragged about, they were all in science. So I chose science because I wanted to be considered one of the good students. I didn't choose science because I loved it. I chose it because that's where all the good students were, according to me, and I wanted to be seen as one of them. I didn't realize I was making a decision solely based on what I wanted other people's opinion of me to be. It just felt like the obvious choice. Also, because everyone who mattered to me thought the same thing. Looking back at it now, that was the first domino, and that led to the next one. A few years later, I joined dental college, and I want to be very honest here. I didn't choose this because I loved being a dentist. I chose this because it made my parents happy. And in our community, in our family, certain professions carry certain weight. If you were a doctor or an engineer, you were a big deal. You were talked about at family gatherings and your parents were proud. And that's the reason why I chose it. And for a while, everything seemed fine. I was in a very respected program. My parents were very happy. Every time someone asked them what I was doing, they had a very good answer. Everything looked fine on the outside. But you know what? I was actually giving it my absolute best and consistently failing over and over again. I kept failing my exams again and again. I watched my class move to the next year and I ended up sitting with juniors. That was my breaking point. Eventually, I gave up. And then came the part that really broke me. When I was trying to figure out what to do next, I figured I would do something in business. But I realized I couldn't get into any business school because I was from a science background. My whole academic path had been built around a decision I made for everyone else. And now, even the way out seemed impossible. I questioned everything. Was I just not smart enough? Had I just wasted years of my life? What was actually wrong with me? Here is a smaller one, but it still stays with me. For the longest time, I was very afraid of traveling alone. A little bit because of safety and logistics, but more because of what my relatives would say to my parents. What would people say if I went somewhere by myself? Would they think something was wrong? Would they judge me? Would they think I was crazy? So I just didn't. For a long time, I waited for someone to come with me, or I just wouldn't go. It actually seems so small when I say it out loud, but if you notice, it's the same pattern repeating over and over again, just in a different outfit. Every decision of mine was filtered through the same lens. What will they think? Science group, dental college, traveling alone. Three completely different decisions separated by years, but the same pattern was running the show. And here's what I want you to sit with. When you live like this, you're not really living your life. You're living a life that other people are quietly approving of or disapproving of in your head in real time. They don't even need to tell you anything. You're doing all the work for them. Here's what nobody told me back then that I want to tell you now. External validation gives other people power over your life, your decisions, your emotions, your sense of self. Not because they are trying to control you. Most of the time, they have no idea that this is even happening. It's not them holding the power over you. It's you giving your power away easily, effortlessly, consistently. Every time you make a choice in your life based on what other people may think, you are essentially telling yourself that their opinion of your life matters more than your own opinion. And the most exhausting part, you can never actually win. Because I'll tell you something, approval is a moving target. What made someone proud yesterday might not be enough today. The expectation is always going to change. There's always going to be more, and there's always going to be another version of good to live up to. The only way out is to start asking yourself a different question. Not what will they think, but what do I actually want? That question feels small, but it's the most powerful question you can ask yourself because nobody else can answer that question for you. Only you have the answer to that question. I am not going to pretend this was an overnight shift. It wasn't, and it's still a work in progress. For a long time after I dropped out from dental college, I kept thinking there was something wrong with me. It took me years to realize that maybe nothing was wrong with me. Maybe I was just trying really hard to succeed at someone else's plan for me. And no amount of hard work can make someone else's plan feel like your own. It started small after that, making one decision based on what I wanted. And when I made decisions, I noticed the world didn't end. People didn't stop loving me. Nothing terrible happened. Slowly, those small decisions started adding up. Each one became a little easier than the last. Not because I didn't love the people in my life anymore. I care deeply about the people in my life. But only because I stopped outsourcing my decisions for my life to people around me. The dental college decision, the one that seemed like my biggest failure at the time, 2 years gone, lakhs of rupees gone, was actually the beginning of everything that I've built ever since, including this channel, my business, my clients. All of that exist because at some point I finally asked myself, what do I want, rather than what makes everyone else comfortable or happy. If there's one thing I want you to take from my story, it's this: the decision that feels the scariest to make, the one everyone might not understand, that's often the one that's actually yours. If any part of my story felt familiar to you, I want you to do one thing right away when it's still fresh. Go do a journaling session to release the need for external validation. I have linked mine at the end of this video. Go do it right now while your energy is still fresh. Drop a comment and tell me, is there a decision in your life that you're making for someone else right now instead of you? You don't have to share the details, just naming it is enough. If this video meant something to you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I post new videos every Sunday. If you're new here, hit subscribe. I'll see you next week. Go do a journaling session to release the need for